Cadbury Dairy Milk Glass and a Half project presents There's a Story in Everyone. Visit cadbury.co.za/storytime for more information on how to share your inspirational story.
You're still with your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso, here on SABC3. Now, here's the thing. When sharing a picture book, parents and children are much more likely to engage in conversations about thoughts and feelings when there are no or few words compared to when there's a lot of text to read. Now, to address the shortage of high-quality and affordable wordless picture books in South Africa, Mikulu Trust decided to produce their very own books and are making them available to their partners and those who need them. The Cadbury Dairy Milk Glass and a Half project is one of those partners, and Kathima Ibrahim, CEO of Mikulu Trust, and Mendy Spies, corporate fundraiser at SOS Children's Village, joins us to talk about how they'll be delivering these much-needed books to orphaned and vulnerable children across South Africa as part of the 1 million rand donation of educational toys, books and games. Ladies, thank you so much for making the time.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning. Hi.
Kathima, I'll start with you. You know, many South African children are not able to read at the required level. Of course, these books will help them tell their own versions of these stories with no restrictions. How did you realize the need for this form of storytelling?
Thank you. So when using picture books in what we at Mikulu Trust call dialogic book sharing, or just book sharing, caregivers are given the opportunity to have an interaction or an interactive discussion with the children in their care. The adult really plays a facilitating role while the child leads the interaction. And this interaction is greatly beneficial for children's cognitive development and their socio-emotional development. And that's really where the need came from for this type of books and this type of engagement, which we call book sharing.
Mendy, when it comes to the benefits of these wordless books, how do you foresee them really inspiring the children in your care?
Many of our children don't have access to books. So once the orphaned and vulnerable child is admitted into the SOS Children's Village, this is their first exposure maybe to books. And it's a wonderful opportunity to be used by our SOS mothers, who are the childcare workers, to bond with the child over a story. It's a wonderful opportunity for our mothers to convey certain morals, teach the children moral values. It's for the child to find some escapism. They can live themselves into the story. And yes, so much more. I mean, they can learn colours, they could learn shapes. And yes, it's a really wonderful opportunity for them to bond, whether it be with the SOS mom or with the younger siblings, sharing the stories and telling the stories together. I mean, culturally, it's great because you don't have words that bind you. So you have the pictures and you can tell the story in any of our languages, which is super.
Oh, and you can expand the story, right?
Absolutely. Kathima, I want to touch back to you again. Why do you think it's so important, to drive imagination in young children, and where can the public find these books?
What we see often is that children who may not be able to have the words to express, anything that they're feeling or that they've experienced, what they do is they find themselves in the story and they start telling their own story, but according to the little girl in the book, because it's easier to talk about what's happening to the little girl in the book than what's happening to me or what I'm feeling.
The beauty of it is really that every single child gets to experience the beauty of storytelling that is without bounds or without any limits or restrictions. And I think that is such a beautiful thing. Mendy, why is it so important to continue sharing stories of hope and inspiration with children? And what are the benefits of really encouraging them to create their own stories?
Well, when a child comes into our care, they may feel that their chapter has been written. It might not be a good story that started. And when they come into our care, we want them to start a new chapter, start on a blank page and write their own story going forward. Part of the growth and the therapeutic aspect is to be able to heal from what has happened in the past. And with the new chapter that they can write and the examples that they see around them about stories of inspiration, it can help them on their path, on their journey to a brighter future. So we would encourage our children to have this kind of exposure and to read stories of hope and be inspired by it.
Mandy, will the children from SOS Children's Village be sharing their stories to help inspire others by participating in the Cadbury Dairy Milk Glass and a Half project presents There's a Story in Everyone?
Yes, as Cadbury believes there's a story in everyone, SOS also believes that there's a story in everyone. And our children have already started sharing their stories. And I was actually very, very pleasantly surprised and proud, may I say, that last week I heard about 2 of our young people who had left our care who are currently writing their own books. And I think they can be inspired by South Africans out there also sharing their stories. And I know there is a wonderful opportunity for everyone to do so. They are most welcome to WhatsApp 087-240-6488. And please, at Cadbury would love to hear the stories. And the idea of this would be to pick the top 20. And these would go into an e-book, which will then be shared with orphan and vulnerable children that is supported through this campaign.
So uplifting.
Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us this morning and for taking time to, inspire us and also inspire South Africans to go out there and do their bit and encourage everyone with their stories.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, whether real or imagined, Cadbury Dairy Milk, they believe that there's a story in everyone. And we're encouraging all South Africans to be generous with your stories of hope. Share them with everyone. The 20 most inspirational stories will be compiled into an e-book and, of course, will be shared with orphaned and vulnerable children across the country. So come on, South Africa, share your story and inspire others. Add 087-240-6488 to your WhatsApp contacts and follow the prompts. And you can share your story as a Word document, a PDF, or even a video recording. Anything will do as long as it's inspiring and obviously uplifting. Have your story of hope published by Cadbury Dairy Milk. Now, there's a story in everyone, so whether real or imagined, share yours and it could be amongst the 20 most inspiring stories compiled into an e-book that brings hope, light and wonder to orphaned and vulnerable children across the land. Add 087-240-6488 to your WhatsApp contacts, follow the prompts and share your story as a Word document, a PDF or a video recording. Standard data rates apply.